Hey everybody, the friendly neighborhood Uncle P here with a quick little intro for this video. Zack Andrews, he's one of the main characters in The House's October Built, a 2014 found footage horror film. He's also one of the producers, creators, and writers of the movie. Last year for the month of October, I actually watched The House's October Built every single day for that month, totaling 31 times in total. And I would post long or short reviews daily about my experience. Well, posting these videos actually caught the attention of Zach, and we started to message each other back and forth. First off, that was very cool just to have someone involved in the movie comment on my video saying, hey, that's kind of cool what you're doing. This eventually led to me having the wonderful opportunity to interview Zach. We're even able to do it in my home, which is really awesome. So this is back at the beginning of the year, and I've been waiting to post this the closer we actually got to spooky season. Since this year, I will be watching The House's October Built Part 2 every single day for the month of October, and I will post daily reviews on that as well. So thanks again to Zach for giving me this incredible opportunity to interview him about his movie. Never in a million years would I think that my silly challenge would have led to this. So I hope you enjoyed a sit-down interview with Zack Andrews, and be ready for October 1st for my initial review and starting off point for my House's October Built Part 2 challenge to watch it every single day for the month of October. I'll see you then. Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete here, and I am with the actual Zack Andrews from The House's October Built, producer and star of the film. Zach, this is pretty awesome. You come and talk to me about this movie. I appreciate it.
No, it was really cool to meet you virtually and kind of go on your journey with us. I feel like you're part of the cast too. You've seen this movie so many times, you can fit right in with us. And yeah, just cool to meet you in person too.
Excellent. So, what was your actual initial reaction when you first got my little tweet on X and you saw that somebody was going to watch your movie for 31 days in a row? What were your thoughts?
Well, my girlfriend actually found it, and she got such a kick out of it because it was a way for her to watch the movie. And I was thinking, there's no way this guy's going to actually do this. I know this is his setup that this is going to happen, but I think on day 11 he's going to burn out. But you did not. You stuck with it, and I thought you did a great job of. You made it interesting. You found something. You could tell that you really were watching it instead of just saying oh, I'm just going to do a bunch of reviews every day. You actually watched the movie, and you could tell because you'd be like, oh, this morning I found this little line of dialogue that I hadn't seen before. So I thought it really was cool.
And I think that helped me make it so I didn't get tired. I didn't get stagnant. I was like, let me find something to talk about each day in my 1-minute review. Okay, I'll talk about Zach today. I'll talk about Bobby and Mike and the little nuances. So it kept it fresh for me so I didn't get tired with it. But speaking of Bobby and Mike and Brandy and Jeff, you guys had excellent chemistry. I spoke about that a lot during my reviews. Was it like that behind the camera as well? Because it looked like you guys just automatically got along, like you were already friends.
We did. We always joked that we feel like more movies should maybe rent a hotel room in Vegas for 3 days and send the cast there so that they can kind of have a natural chemistry, like you're saying, and have a bonding experience and be able to tell stories that maybe aren't perfectly scripted, but you kind of call back to something. That naturalistic, I don't know, just things that you've done, like you were saying, behind camera, I think then kind of bleed over, no pun intended, to the actual scene. And, we had actually all known each other for, Mike and Bobby are actually brothers. Yeah. And we went to high school together, and Bobby met Jeff in film school. So we had those memories and those times and those experiences that we could kind of call on and kind of know each other's little buttons to push and inside jokes and things. So I'm glad that came across.
Yeah, because one critique I have from movies, I don't like it, is when I feel when you can tell somebody is acting. Because I cover all these movies on my channel, I'm covering a bunch of giallo films right now. To me, that's art, because you really can't tell people are acting. The chemistry is so good. That's what I liked about your movie, the chemistry, because I don't like when I'm watching a movie and I can tell people are acting. You can tell they're putting on a role. They're not playing themselves, but that's what we got with The Houses. And I saw you as a driving force. I gave everybody a little role in the film. Bobby was the leader, even though he was behind the camera a lot, I imagine. And you were the driving force because you were doing all the research. Hey, we got to go over here. We got to go over there. And it felt like you in the movie, that you weren't playing a role. You were just being yourself, Zach. So did you plan it out like that anyway?
We did. We had. I mean, I think from a character standpoint and from a story standpoint, we wanted to kind of set the scene, and we knew where we needed to go, but we did want to have some naturalistic moments. So, if you were saying like in a typical scripted movie, possibly with a scene that it might be like a 2-minute scene, well, the director's just going to yell cut after 2 minutes, and it's going to be like, okay, let's redo the scene. Let's redo the scene. Let's redo the scene. And we wanted to take the attitude of more like, let the cameras roll. And let's see what we get. We know where we have to go. And if we got kind of veering off, Bobby could be like, okay, I think we, let's try to stay more focused on, XYZ topic. And then you just start again. And then we could be talking about something that was never going to be in the movie, something that just happened in sports. But then naturalistically, that would lead into the point where, Bobby had just given us the direction of where we needed to get. And we'd get there. We might just start somewhere that never even made it on camera.
So that's what I liked about the scares, like that first haunt you go into and Brandy walks in. And I don't think somebody could have acted the way she jumped scared. That had to have been like a legit, she didn't see that coming.
For sure.
Because it was just so natural, like, because you get that laugh. And sometimes when people get scared, they get that nervous laughter, and I was doing it. It just flowed really well. Together.
We never let her go through first. So we would go and like kind of scout it out and see the different things. Oh my God, that's going to be amazing. But Brandy couldn't be on that part of it. We wanted, the cameras need to be rolling for her virgin voyage into each haunt.
So speaking of the haunts, with all the scare actors, they were all legit scare actors. Like you showed up at their haunt, hey, do you mind being in our movie? And they were just...
Yeah.
Was there anybody who you thought was acting up too much that went up on the cutting room floor? What are the scare actors?
They really didn't. I mean, they have perfected these characters, and that's why we didn't want to. A studio we had started working with was saying like, okay, well, we could probably build this set in LA, and we've got we can audition, and Bobby and I are like, that's not how we want to make this movie. We want to be in New Mexico. We want to be in Minnesota at the actual place. With the actual people who they're not playing a certain character, they are that character.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it says that in the movie how much they, this is what they do. They love it.
And so they really were able to embody that for the movie and just do what they always did. So yeah, I don't think anyone ever was like overdoing it. I think they just stayed in character perfectly. It's almost like they had been rehearsing for their movie moment. They had been rehearsing for the past 10 years. And
the same thing with the guests, the people, the patrons that you used in the movie as well. Those all natural reactions. Hey, just tell me how you felt, and because it felt so real.
Yeah. I think people are used to now like kind of a camera panning through places and screaming and all of that. Because to get that authenticity, you'd have to hire hundreds, if not thousands, of extras. I mean, even in part 2, you're going to see we really went to bigger places. We didn't want to go back and do kind of your ma and pa haunted houses because we felt like we did cover that in the first movie. And so we're like, how are we going to make this unique? So we go to a zombie pub crawl. There's literally tens of thousands of people that are, we had to shoot with drones to, get the full, concerts. There's a brain eating contest against Kobayashi that's actually real. Everything in these movies is not set up. That did happen. So yeah, there's just it's really a cool way to get naturalistic things by just kind of letting them happen instead of trying to force things. I mean, obviously that's why, super famous and rich actors because they're really, really good at being naturalistic.
Yeah.
But at this level, you can't expect somebody that's just in a crowd to give you a natural response. You
get that authenticity with it. I watched this movie, like I said, 31 times. I was like, I don't know if I was dissecting it too much. Like I said, that one van that cuts you off.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
In my head, because it was in the movie, I was like, if it's in the movie, it's got to be in there for a reason. In my head canon, that was the Blue Skeleton guys, because they followed you from the previous haunt, because, Mikey pissed everybody up off on the roof, and then you had that little altercation, and then here comes his van cutting you off. Did the van really cut you off? Or, to me, that was the Blue Skeleton following you guys.
We had to do that 20 times. We had a stunt driver actor that, absolutely not. that just happened, and then it kind of fit in with
it does
with our story.
it really it fits in so well.
Yeah, we actually did get cut off on the highway.
That
would have been a tragic ending. The bus just flipped, and it would have been a real horror film.
I think one of the poster childs for the movie is Porcelain. Who came up with the concept or the idea, that mask for Porcelain? Because it's a striking figure that's really creepy, and she only some guttural words here and there. It's really effective though for getting gives you those goosebumps. She's not. So can you tell me about Porcelain? The idea of her?
Yeah, I mean, it was the same thing. It was when we were on set and we saw her. Bobby and I were just like, that's. If we can talk to her, we asked the owner if we could talk to her, off camera. And once we did, and, asked her, would you be game to kind of do this? And then, we had to talk to CFX who made the mask and say, oh, can we use that mask? And then that way it could travel with us and be at other locations. But that was just as authentic as everything else. She was an actual character.
That's why I enjoyed about your movie is because I love found footage films. And with found footage, you always have to answer that question. Why are you still filming? I think for a found footage movie to work, you have to answer that question. Why are you still filming? That's what works so well with your movie because you're filming a documentary about extreme haunts, and you should just turn that into a movie. Which goes my next question because originally the House is October Built was a documentary on these haunts. How did that progress into you guys actually filming a movie about it?
Well, we might want to call a special friend here. We'll see if we can. That seems like a perfect.
I'm surprised. I have no idea about this.
Perfect question here because some stuff's above my pay grade, and we'll just see. All right, if it rings, then we'll.
Okay, no worries.
Add it in.
I'll go to my next question then. You guys, one thing I would go back about the chemistry, you guys were so protective of Brandy. You guys all looked at her. I know you're dating in the film, but everyone else looked at her as...
No, that's funny. Why do you think we're dating in the film? we weren't. We weren't.
No,
we weren't dating in the film, but everybody kind of has their theory on... If Jeff dating her did Mikey date her?
I think because you guys are sleeping in the back of the RV is how I made that connection. And I think some of the reviews I've read has Zach's girlfriend Brandy. So some people are thinking, but you're not actually.
No. Because what's funny is nobody really had. That was something we had talked about of should there be some kind of love interest at some point. And we thought, you know what, that's where a movie like this would feel a little forced, I think. If it, in the first movie, if it's of course there's a love story, but it's what if we just didn't do that? That would kind of throw off the scent. But then because people are so used to that being in movies, especially horror movies, that everybody kind of had their theory on.
Kind of just drew a connection.
Well, you can tell that Mikey and Brandy clearly have a past, or Jeff has a crush on Brandy. Zach and Brandy are dating, so that's funny. Because
I was thinking with the chemistry, but I never saw chemistry in a romantic sense with you and Brandy. I was like, it said they're dating, but I never saw
this is the worst relationship ever.
Because the one part where she was almost assaulted in that one bar, and then you guys are in the RV and she's visibly upset. You're just sitting there. And I was like, what is he thinking right now? Because I don't know if it was guilt or what you were playing at that. Because is it guilt? Does he feel guilty about putting her through all that? If you remember, what was your motivation, so to speak, for scenes like that when Brandy was so upset? You were trying to, no, we got to keep pushing to these haunts.
Yeah, well, because I knew. My character knew kind of what was going on. And that's why there's another scene where Mikey gets angry at a haunt worker kind of protecting Brandy. Yeah. And so that that can make you kind of think the other way, but that reaction is authentic for his character because he doesn't know what's going on. He's just in the dark as Brandy is at that point. So that's you're picking up on a lot of the subtleties through the multiple viewings.
Excellent. Now with the sequel, having Seek Out Hellbent scrambled up from the Blue Skeleton, was that just a happy accident that you guys figured on one day? Because that's such a cool tagline for the sequel. How did you come up with that? Was it just a happy accident?
Yeah, we knew we wanted to do something like that. And so we just kind of, once we figured that we could make that anagram, it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We kind of got lucky here. So we would have found something creative, but that once we kind of jumble those letters. That was a good way to do it.
Now, with filming, you filmed 2 movies. What did you learn about the filmmaking process? Like, in a future project, what you would do differently, things you would do the same. Like, what things did you learn from filming these movies?
I think just technology is crazy how every year, every 2 years, every 3 years, the cameras change. Drones didn't even exist in the manner that they did for the second movie. And when we shot that, it was right at the turn of standard definition to HD. And we thought, if we shoot this in HD, you're going to smell us coming from a mile away. Because what friends in that year had access to HD? Yeah. So we shot it in SD. And that was a mistake because we could have always down converted it. But there was so much going on that we were just like, we definitely don't want to shoot it in HD. This group of friends would never have access to that. Whereas now, if it didn't look absolutely perfect, even if it was the most amateur thing ever, it just wouldn't be right. Because now we're used to, as crisp as can be. So,
yeah, we got iPhones that can do.
Exactly. So you learn through the filmmaking process of what is current at the time. You also learn what, dealing with large crowds the first time. It was like, how is this going to go? The second time you walk in, you kind of know exactly what to ask of people. You know what to ask of the haunt owners. You kind of have a built-in reputation. The second time, we definitely had probably a smoother ride at the haunted houses because there's always one haunt actor that had seen the movies. And so they did, oh my gosh, these are the Houses of October guys, whatever you guys need. Like, they would tell the owner, like, trust me, like, we want to be a part of this. That's cool. Just let them have free reign. Whereas the first movie, people could be a little bit like, wait, like, what is this for? We didn't have a track record, but Todd James was one of the first people that opened his door. That's the Cutting Edge. It's the Guinness Book of World Records longest walk through haunted house. And he really, for having such an intricate and big and well-known place, to just be like, you know what? He got to know us and he said, I trust you guys are going to do something cool. And we're still close with him to this day, over 10 years later. Nice. He's actually a part of Haunt Society, which is another kind of branch off of the franchise that allows fans of the movie to say, people always contact us about, like, I wish I could go to the places that are in Houses of Octoberville. Well, you can't. You might be in Iowa. Well, we didn't shoot at Iowa, but we want to be able to say, these are the haunted houses that most closely resemble the brand that we stand for. And so we have haunted houses all over the country. If you go to hauntsociety.com, you can find a haunted house that is basically endorsed by Bobby and I and the Houses of Octoberville brand. Yeah.
Now, because you got in the movie, you're searching for extreme haunts, and I know a lot of people interested. What is your opinion on McCamey Manor with that guy? My opinion, it's not even a haunt. He's just torturing people. Yeah. And you want to talk about that. What's your opinion on his thing?
I'm right there with you. I would never go to McCamey Manor. So I can't comment on the experience itself, having never gone. It's just not something I'm interested in. It isn't a haunted house.
Exactly.
It's not Halloween. It's not in the spirit of that. It is more in the spirit of torture, and maybe that's for some people to do, of pressing limits. I'm trying to think of, like, I have jumped out of an airplane, but I don't really need to do it again. I don't need to, like, I'm not going to have, although Bobby will do some like hot wings contests. I don't need to feel that pain. I know what that does. Another friend of mine had the hottest hot sauce ever on his hands and ended up going to the restroom and he forgot to wash them off. So shout out to Derek for experiencing that in a different way. But yeah, I don't need any part of that.
So when you filmed the original, did you think you guys were going to do a sequel? Or was it just like, hey, because we're just going to do Houses of October built and see what happens? Did you have sequel ideas already in play?
We did. We there's more to tell in this story even.
That was my next question.
Yeah, there's we definitely had thought out a long arc if we were so lucky enough to be able to go back and do a second movie, and luckily, because the first one did kind of catch on in probably the way that you found it, is it's kind of this underground independent horror that people literally just kind of latched onto. And I think that it's not that it's a horror film. I think the uniqueness of it is it's a Halloween movie, and it's very, people put it on their watch list Definitely not every day of October, but I think people try to hit it at least once in the season. And when new people come up and say, "I heard about your movie. Like, what's the deal? Should I watch it?" If they find me in April, I say, I mean, if you're a huge Halloween fan, you can watch it any time. But if it were me, I would wait till October 1st, wait till October 30th. Do it as kind of celebration of the holiday.
And that's why I love the title so much. The Houses October Built. It says it right there. Because when I was deciding to do this 31-day marathon, I got the idea from somebody else, and I was asking some friends online. Actually, Josh, who made the movie, he said, I was asking for ideas. Like, I didn't want to do Return of the Living Dead, which is my favorite movie of all time, and I didn't want to do something like The Human Centipede, where I'd watch it once and then never want to watch it again. And I was asking for ideas, and he's like, the House is October Built, make it fit. And I had seen the movie once or twice. I was like, that's excellent. And it's perfect for Halloween, like you said, because us as viewers, we get to go to these haunts. We may not get to see these haunts. There might not be haunts around us, so we get to see what it's like, these really extreme haunts where scare actors are all in. I mean, you got big sets and everything, just for what you've seen, everybody dressed up. It looks like a lot of fun. In the movie, you feel everybody's energy. Mm-hmm. You feel everybody's energy, and I think as horror fans, especially during the spooky season, we like to feel that energy, and that's what, obviously the House is October Built gives us. And my next question was I guess there is room for a trilogy.
There is room.
That's excellent.
We'll cross it. We'll open that door.
Yes. So, Zach, the original House is October Built wasn't the movie that I watched for 31 days. There was an actual documentary style, not a film, on the original House is October Built.
Well, we might have to phone a friend to talk about this.
Okay.
You might be able to weigh in on this topic. We've got a question for you. We got a special guest here. I didn't want to answer the original questions about the original documentary, but you got Uncle Pete right here, Bobby. Bobby, Uncle Pete.
Bobby, nice to meet you. Thank you.
You as well. I appreciate all you did at Halloween. That was pretty damn cool.
Excellent. So the question I asked Zach was, the original House is October Built wasn't the movie that I watched for 31 days. There was an actual documentary style film, The House is October Built, before this one even became a movie.
That is correct. It's, to be honest, still probably, and I think Zach would say the same, the one that's most near and dear to our heart. It's the raw, it's a raw version. I guess at the end of the day, it was a mistake, but we shot it in SD.
I did tell that story.
Did you tell him that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big problem for the theaters. Fox didn't want to do that. We were just right at the cusp of HD. And by doing that, I just felt at the time if we shot HD, it would look too real. And the whole point was the ruse. The whole point was fooling people. And so I wanted to have a little bit more of that Blair Witch feel because we just weren't ready for it yet. Mm-hmm. But that ended up being actually a big mistake. But in the long run, it's kind of cool. Now we have two different versions. We have the independent version and the studio version. So, we're really proud of that. And what we pulled off, when, to be honest, everybody in town told us no because they wanted all the supernatural, paranormal stuff. And we were like, no, there's a different story to tell here that can still be scary and fun and a love letter to Halloween.
Excellent. And that's what that movie definitely is, a good love letter to Halloween, I have to say.
So hopefully you'll be able to see that version at some point too. But I think that's fun. I think it'll be fun for a lot of the fans that love the original, the theatrical version. This kind of has a little bit of a different spin. We go to different places, interview different people. So it's a good time as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Bobby. I appreciate it.
And a little role reversal. Now he gets to yell cut, and we just get to be done with you.
Yeah, speaking of role reversal, Zach and I actually switched characters in that movie. So our characters switched from the one you're familiar with. We flopped characters. So that was kind of fun for us as well.
And apparently nobody was dating Brandy, which is something a lot of people pick up on.
Oh, yeah. There's always that. People are looting, and I think it was important that we had, which I hoped, it was a different dynamic, like a platonic, almost a bunch of four brothers looking after their sister.
Definitely.
And she's always been a trooper, and for her to stay in the RV with us for 4 weeks and deal with all that, it was like a brother-sister relationship. But yeah, it all goes back to that one shot just because Zach's laying in bed with her. But, that's how we were all packed in there. There wasn't anything to read into, but people like to read into that.
Excellent.
Yep. All right, I got to go. I'm with the kids. But like I said, I appreciate everything you did last fall. It was really cool.
Thank you very much, Bobby. I appreciate it.
Are you going to do part 2?
I already planned to do it. I'm doing it this year.
All right. Sounds good. All right, later, bud.
All right.
Bye.
That was very fun. Thank you very much for that one. So, I guess we'll start wrap things up a little bit. But I brought up that I noticed when Bobby was putting the cameras in the RV at the beginning of the film, I saw somebody standing in the background. I was just like, so I'm thinking I was trying to play into this skeleton. It was as somebody, and I put the little clip in my video. Bobby's putting up, he pans over. You can see in the back that there's somebody staying in there. So that was, no one else caught that from my understanding.
I think it was just a mistake.
There you go.
I think I was probably doing craft services and got caught. So.
I'm just surprised that no one has ever brought that up before. I was just like, well, I did watch it 30 in my defense.
Yeah.
I was looking for something to talk about.
That was definitely in the double digit watching. That was like watch 17. It was like, wait a second.
I'd have to come up with different things to talk about in that movie, but the movie gave me a lot to talk about. Like I said, you had all the different characters, each have their own different traits. Like I was like, Mikey was the fun guy, protective, a little obnoxious, but still would protect for his friends. Jeff,
seek out Hellbent,
had this innocence to him. Like I brought up, like he had his rap and his poem both spoke about a barn. I just thought that was like, and I just think that spoke to his innocence. You were the driving force. We got to go here and there, and you got not the damsel in distress, so to speak, but that's what she became with Brandy, and then Bobby, the mostly behind the camera, but like the leader of it all. So it gave me something to talk about for each character, because I can go on and on about each character. It was only minute reviews, so the movie gave me surprisingly enough to talk about for 31 times. It was, I guess I enjoyed it that much.
Yeah, we wanted you to feel like you could be a part of the group, and I know it's everybody has different friendships in life and different personalities, but if you hung out with people like us, we wanted you to feel like, I could do that road trip. I would be with those guys. I would have a beer with those guys. And then other people could be like, yeah, those guys are assholes. I wouldn't hang out with those guys, which is fine too. And then you can root for us to get killed.
But I don't know. I think I pretty much covered a lot there, Zach. I never expected back, months ago. I'm like, let me watch this movie every day for 31 days. Would I think that the guy seen in the movie 31 times would be sitting in my dining room, talking to me, nice little conversation, asking some questions. I never would have expected that. That's pretty amazing for you to do that. I like it.
We were on the journey with you because we would, if you said something funny, the cast would send it to each other. So we were right there, just like, we did for you in the movie, you did for us on YouTube, because we enjoyed waking up in the morning and sending those clips to different friends. And we really appreciate it. It's really cool to meet somebody who kind of got what we were trying to do and enjoyed that ride, and that's who we made the movie for, is people that would watch it this many times. So happy to be here, happy to have met you.
Awesome. And I will be watching The House is October Built Part 2 starting October 1st of this year all the way till October 31st. We'll see what happens with that one. It should be a lot of fun.
It is
Excellent.
So, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Zach. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, everybody, I got to thank Zach again. I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget, I am your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. And remember, with great kills, there must also come great naps.